Ayo, top5rapwebsite.com. You already know what's going on. Long day, brother. Like, yo, very long day. How y'all doing in the chat? Shout out to everybody in the chat. May, I don't know how to say your name. The gaming guy, Zero as always, Smitch Mero, and everyone else who will come thereafter. So, like the title of the live stream, it's very obvious. We're reacting to one of Anthony Fantano's videos. Shout out Anthony Fantano. It's about Drake's UMG lawsuit, which is perfect for me because I have not been keeping up with this stuff. I'm not your local court reporter, so I don't be following all this stuff. So I get to get refreshed on what's going on, and maybe you do too if you haven't seen Fantano's video. But first, housekeeping. New videos on the channel. We got a lot of new videos this week. How many new videos this week? What is this? 8, 9 videos in 7 days, right? So obviously a good chunk of this is the Rayvon, Joey Badass back and forth. We got some Fat Joe from the Joe and Jada podcast. We got some academics. We got some SZA. We got some Charlotte. So we just got a smorgasbord of, new content, a lot of different topics. But before we get into the Anthony Fantano thing, I know y'all is probably waiting on my reaction to Reason's recent diss to Joey Badass called The Dead Apple. I've not done it yet, so we're going to do it live. Reason likes the channel. Reason watches the channel. So if you're watching Reason, please do not copyright strike. Take down me reacting to your song, right? So yeah, we'll do the Reason thing. And then, because I've done all the other ones. I've done the Joey, I've done the Rayvon, so. But can I be honest about this though, right quick, before we do the Reason? Actually, let's do Reasons first, because I don't want to start off somber with this, right? So we're gonna do Reasons first. Again, if the stream just goes out mid-video, it's because of Reason, right? It's because of Reason copyright takedown or whatever you got going on, which I don't think is gonna happen. But if it does happen, yo, spam L to Reason, you know what I mean? Yo, shout out Lenny D in the chat. Okay, so we're gonna do the Reason Dead Apple joint. Got 100K views in 9 hours. That's great numbers for Reason. So let's see what he's talking about. Hold on, let's get everything ready. Okay, we ready. Y'all heard this already? This is my first time hearing it, for real. Put both headphones in. Let me know if y'all can hear that.
So, dear Joey, ain't expect my name to be spoken. That shit really hurt my heart. I can truly say that it's broken. I get it's just a bar, but when I sit down and focus, it's a coast jealousy that you niggas thought we ain't noticed. Yo.
Yeah, and that's true by Reason. Actually, let me pull up the lyrics. I think it's more interesting for you guys if I pull up the lyrics as I'm listening. Otherwise, you're just watching me, and who just wants to watch me, right? Here we go. So obviously, Joey mentions Reason in the finals diss. Like he says, yo, you gonna be he tells Rayvon, Joey tells Rayvon, yo, you gonna be the next artist that's dropped off of TDE. Then he name drops Reason, nasty work by Joey. Oh, here it is right here. We can actually look up the actual bar right here. You the next dude getting dropped off top roster, and I'm gonna be the Reason. So it really wasn't a shot at Reason. It's just kind of just name dropping him in there. But if you're Reason, why not get some of these views? Get be a part of this little drama. You can feed off the Kendrick and Drake thing. Help your views go up. Why not? But I do think this part is correct. It's a lot of coast jealousy that you dude started. I do find often that when the West Coast is up, like when we got artists or when the West Coast is having a moment, for some reason, I do find that New York rappers, some of them, just take this, I don't know what they feel. They just take it a certain way. Like, oh, California can't have a moment without us getting offended. That is true. I do notice that. Joe Vargas, what up? Yo, killed the good work. Yo, thank you. Shout out to Alfredo in the chat. But yeah, we right back to the video.
I used to be the Mecca, you niggas was really goated. We heard your techniques and applied it while y'all was gloating. The sacrificial lamb, the soloist with no band members, Joey Kaepernick. Nobody gonna take a stand with y'all. Used to have.
Yeah, no one's gonna take a stand with you. Yeah, Joey's kind of doing this alone. There's really no other rappers in New York that are kind of standing up with him and being like, because personally, I think Joey going back and forth with Ray Vaughn is a waste of time. It's like you're not going to get any. Only one who benefits off of that is Ray Vaughn. So if you had like if Joey had little homies like CJ Fly or one of these more little homies, you can handle Ray Vaughn. I'm gonna continue to focus on Kendrick. Yeah, no one's really standing with him. But New York in general is just lacking new talent that cares to do something like this. A lot of the younger New York artists, they're doing drill music. I don't think they're really into the whole competitive side of hip hop thing. Sway Boogie in the chat.
Texture, struggling, really roughing it. Hit a bumpy road, slick fell off, now you on sucker shit. West State, the core star name blew up and puffed a bit. And speaking of puff, you niggas been on some nutty shit.
Yeah.
This ain't the New York I know. This ain't the New York I know.
And Mace.
This ain't the New York I know.
Where's Mace on this?
This ain't the New York I know.
I mean, not your little
right
niggas. Like the way you talking, I don't get what you mean. We're not your little niggas. Like for real, all that.
Dude, that's when Mace was going at Jay Prince, right?
Been dropped, had to slide for my interest. Left up 100, asked God as my witness. Stepping on my own cause I needed my percentage. Unique chain, boy, I'm cold independent.
They kind of talking about the TDE thing right here. I stepped out on my own. I need my percentage. Like, I mean, this is kind of what Drake was talking about in Push-Ups, right? To Kendrick, right? Like, yo, show everybody your percentage splits. You're getting extorted by top. The reason is saying, yo, I had to get my splits right. I can't continue. I could not continue to be in that situation. This is what I take from it.
Step one, two, step one. Don't worry, Rafer. I ain't gonna take your battle. I'm just doing a light jab off the principle. Step one, two, step.
Little beat switch.
The shot ain't direct enough, but fuck it, you mentioned me, I'm with the drama. The cipher was cold, I run it back for you and Ollie is so beside you. I push a button like it's debit, my nigga. I never sue, but I settle it, nigga. The clip hungry, I done fed it, my nigga. We ain't good fellas, I your pressure, nigga. Method acting turning into personas. Unique in your posture. I'll turn into Ronnie if it's about the vibe.
Shout out to Goodfellas. What's y'all favorite mob movie? I haven't seen all of them. I haven't seen a lot of them, actually. I'm not really a big movie guy. But Casino was really good. Casino was great.
But you ain't surviving. It's the West turning up the temperature. You want the top spot, nigga, climb it. In a 20V Joe, like I'm locking a phone injuries. I'm pressing and sliding. I come and step over there, nigga. Ain't no respect over here, nigga. I would say get in the booth, but fuck is really, really left over there, nigga. Y'all went from rapping on corners to me in the corner. It's depth over there, nigga. I know y'all doing it.
Y'all went from rapping on corners to being in the corner. I think he's saying Joey is backed up in a corner. Like he's getting surrounded by West Coast artists.
Shit for a rollout, but I'm really pressed over here, nigga. Cause I've been the quiet one that was lined up to line up petitions, nigga. Come and sign up. This for anybody trying to mention my name. I ain't tolerating, I'ma slide something. I don't care what season it is, some of these niggas dying. I'm at all them. Don't care if I ain't got a reason like
It's this like a Kendrick delivery, ain't it? It's kind of like a Kendrick delivery. Or am I tripping?
Before signing me, I'ma find one. Step one, two, step. Step on a nigga, behead me. A nigga could say 10 other words, but chose my name. Now shit could get devilish, nigga. Griselda, the only niggas that was holding shit down when y'all wasn't present, my nigga. I step on a nigga, I step on a nigga.
Yeah, Griselda was the only ones holding down when y'all wasn't present. Yeah, Griselda been holding down New York for a while. I think even much to the dismay of New York. I don't know. If I got any New Yorkers in the chat, speak up now, because I'm about to say something that's going to offend you. So, I mean, speak up, because what I'm about to say is probably going to be, you're probably going to take it some type of way. But it seems like New York, y'all have like a hater issue. Like y'all are some haters. That's just what I get from it. I've known people from New York. I knew a chick from Harlem when I was in grad school. She was cool. Caribbean chick from Harlem. And I knew a dude, he was also from Harlem. Also in grad school. Those are only two people directly from New York that I've known. And they was cool people. But in the rap game, it seemed like New York, and I'm not just speaking about the whole East Coast. I'm talking about New York City, actually. Not even speaking about the whole New York. I'm talking about New York City. It seemed like y'all got a hater issue. And I think that's why a lot of the younger New York artists don't, like every other coast, follows their regional sound, or they've held on to it. The South has kind of held on to trap music from the 2000s, and they've kind of built on it. The West Coast has held on to kind of like that battle cat type of thing. Even some aspects of G-Funk from the 90s, newer West Coast artists have held on to. But New York City artists, the younger ones, they've just completely abandoned boom bap and everything associated with. And I think it's because y'all have like a hater mentality over there. I think y'all hate on each other. I think y'all hate on your younger artists. And with this reason bar, Griselda was the only one holding y'all down. I think in the early stages, y'all was hating on Griselda. I would have to ask Westside Gunn for sure. Like, yo, did you feel hate from New York City? Because, yeah, remember, Griselda, they're from New York, but they're from Buffalo. So I think the New York City people, they was kind of hating on Griselda at first too. Like Buffalo, like y'all from upstate and all this. Like, I think New York City has a hater problem. And even with Joey Badass coming out, and I'll stick to this. I'll expand more on this point after the song. But even Joey coming out and speaking about Kendrick, yo, too much West Coast dick licking and all this. That's haters. That's hater shit. Like that's you mad because the West Coast is having a moment. And then Joey got that from Jay-Z. Jay-Z said that in 96 on Reasonable Doubt album. So it's like, y'all niggas is some haters. New York Doobie ain't hard. What's good, Toppers? If that's still a thing. Yes, Toppers. Yeah, we said, unless y'all want to come up with a new name. That's what we, yeah.
I step on a nigga.
I'm glad you did it after you already suffered defeat.
You panicking, Get the fuck out of
Oh, yeah, that's from the Dipset and the Locks verses. I still rewatch that verses from time to time.
Get the fuck out of here, nigga.
New York, the real New York. I'm outside.
I don't live in Miami. I don't live in Colorado.
Come to my block and see me, my nigga.
Popped out, went straight to the booth. Nigga, Reeves, where you been? What the fuck? I ain't spooked. Nigga, satellite dishes, we'll put it on your roof. Nigga, turn Islam and choose peace. I ain't lone, nigga. I can catch a friendly with the homies. That's just how it is.
Oh, he about to freestyle over I'm from New York beat? That's funny.
I'll come and try it, let it sing like a quiet kid.
Zero said the whole state of New York is trash. They move and still try to rep that rat hole and tell the people they moved to is worse than NY and won't come back. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's trash. I have no, like, people in my family love going to New York City, right? I have no desire to ever go to New York. We have a place that's like New York City in California, but it's like a very microcosm version of New York. That place in California is called San Francisco. It's like New York, but like minus 100. If New York is anything like San Francisco, I have no desire to go there at all. Like, nothing about New York screams, yo, let's come. And I'm from the city too. I'm from LA. So it's like the city and the nightlife and all this, it does nothing for me. Like, I was born in this, in LA and all that. I have no desire to ever go to New York.
A lot of steppers carry cannons like Mariah did. Calm all that bass in your voice. We the pioneers. Oh shit, niggas all bad. The best rapper in New York on a podcast.
The best rapper in New York is on a podcast. Nas don't have a podcast. Who is he talking about? Reason is making a reference to former rapper turned podcast host Joe Budden. Button's not from New York though. Button is from Jersey, isn't he?
Up this shirt and give out jaw tabs. This ain't clout chasing, nigga. What you call that? This ain't about paper, nigga. What you call that? I bring it right to where nigga law on that. We whack a nigga, better garden up or fall back. It's the law
Garden,
started, nigga.
Madison Square Garden.
Turn into a slave on a whip and pick apart a nigga like the fibula.
Should I suggest an improvement on this? Because he said we whack a dude, better garden up or fall back. He's obviously mentioning Madison Square Garden. I'll annotate this at some point.
Latest pressing, I bring out the hard niggas. Dreading this shit long as Dwayne Carter, nigga. I crash on any nigga cause I love it more. It ain't just Joey, it's for any nigga coming for him. You can speak on me and top, I ain't got nothing for it. Cause that's my business with them niggas, that ain't none of yours. As God is my witness.
Well, reason they made it our business. You was back on Fig and Moose's called and he made it everybody's business.
My hand on my 40, I'm way too forgiving. The devil's still on me, I'm tempted. The block keep on calling, I'm probably gonna spend it, my nigga. Blessings extended, the ghetto's still on me. Don't talk to me different, my nigga. I'm way too forgiving. My hand on my 40. Lately I've been tempted, my nigga.
Okay, that was the Dead Apple by Reason. Shout out to Carson. Reason's from Carson, right? I don't want to just be like, yo, shout out to this place and dude ain't even from there. Reason, rapper. Yeah, he's from Carson. He's from the same city as Ray Vaughn. They both from Carson. Okay? Greater LA area. To people who are not from LA or California, you could just say they're from LA. I have very little experience with Carson, actually. I used to work in West LA and I lived in Long Beach. So I would pass by Carson on the way home for work. I would pass by Cal State, Dominguez Hills and all that. It's like a suburb. It seemed nice. It seemed like a nice place to live, raise a family, parks and all that, suburbs and all that. Shout out to Carson. Absol is from Carson too. So anyway, I don't know much about Carson though. But what I do know is New York City, y'all seem to have a hater issue. Y'all seem to have a hater problem. And it seems to come out whenever the West Coast specifically, maybe the South notices this too. All my Southerners, let me notice it. Let me know if you notice this. When y'all having a moment in hip hop, like the West Coast just had with, the whole Kendrick thing and all that, the pop out and all that. Why do New York start feeling bad? Why do y'all get jealous? That don't even make sense to me. Jay-Z did it. Joey did it. And I'm sure if I really sat and thought about it, Tim Dog did it. Remember Tim Dog? Of course you don't. Of course you don't. Tim Dog. Yeah, he had a song called F Compton. And he sang F Compton because back in the early, or really in the late 80s, early 90s, NWA. What was it? I don't know if it was NWA. It was more so early 90s with Dre and Snoop. Tim Dog jumps out and just says F Compton because there's this whole movement happening on the West Coast and Compton is becoming popular. And out of nowhere, this guy just comes out and he's just like, he's from New York, F Compton. I don't know what, again, if you're from New York City or if you're from the East Coast, maybe you're from Philly, Jersey, and you understand your New York brethren, help me understand. Y'all got that hater spirit in, some of y'all got that hater spirit in you, and it comes out heavy as it relates to hip hop. Now, this Tim Dog F Compton song, I would not advise anyone to listen to it. This is one of the worst rap songs ever recorded. Certainly the worst rap song that has this many views, that's in the millions. Dude is flowing like it's 1979 in the 90s. He's flowing like it's 1979 in the 90s, right? So in the 90s, his flow was out of date. So today it just sounds even worse. Tim Dog. So, and I'm sure if I really sat and thought about it, I could bring up other examples of New York rappers just getting out of pocket as it relates. Yeah, R.I.P. Tim Dog. I didn't know he was dead, but I mean, the song it sucks. But I mean, maybe he was a good person. All I'm saying is this, right? There's this history of New York rappers. Some of them is cool. Like Rakim, EPMD. We never heard, Ice Spice. Honestly, cool to me. 50 Cent, like 50 Cent is loved out here. 50 Cent I never felt 50 Cent is hating on the West Coast. I never felt that from 50, right? I felt that from Jay-Z, Joey, and Tim Dog. But really on the West Coast, we gave 50 his. 50 got a lot. 50 has a lot to thank us for. But anyway, that's a whole different video. New York City, y'all got some hater blood in y'all, and that's something y'all got to work out amongst yourselves. And it also can explain why your younger artists really don't respect, y'all's legends. I mean, but I don't live out there. I lived in Massachusetts for like a year, but that's about it. Juice Lee in the chat said, Joey really created TD East. Yeah, I saw that. Hold on, let me see that. I'm going to read the other chats too. Let me see. Badmon. Joey. I don't know if this is real. Entity name. This is Joey's Twitter. It says TD East. Filed by Joe Von Virginie, which is Joey, and Anthony Tiffith, which is Top Dog. I don't think this is real because if Joey was actually creating an LLC called TD East. Why would Top Dog be involved in it? That doesn't make sense, right? It wouldn't even make sense. I don't think it's real. I think he's just trolling. Where we at in the chat? Oh, thank you for the content from Long Beach with love. Yeah, shout out to Long Beach. I mess with Long Beach is really Lakewood. I lived in Lakewood, but I lived off Cherry and Carson, which is damn near Long Beach. Lakewood is like probably one of my favorite cities I've ever lived in. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Annis. Long Beach with love. Shout out to Long Beach. It's because of the West Coast is Circle too. Midwest and South be on top with vibes. 50 Cent is an NY rapper that was allegedly almost killed by another NY rapper and had a West Coast beats and had a Southern flow. Right. Well, 50 kind of left New York. And where did he move to after he got shot? I think the story goes 50 moved, like right after he got shot, he was either in Connecticut or Canada. And then Eminem tapped in with him. And then they moved him to the West Coast. So, and 50 was going against like some heavy guys that were really heavy in New York. So they could have really blocked 50's whole music career if he continued to try to get popping on the East Coast. But instead, Eminem tapped in with 50, brought 50 to Dre. I'm pretty sure this is how the story goes. Eminem tapped in with 50 after he got shot. Eminem brought 50 to Dre. And then 50 got popping on the West Coast. I mean, he got popping through our vessels. And that's just kind of how it went. So if you're on New York and you Supreme and all them and you trying to block 50 and you're Murder Inc., you're trying to block 50, you could do that on the East Coast. But like when 50 hooks up with Dre and Jimmy Iovine in Interscope and he's on the West, there's really nothing you could do about that. Like y'all might run New York, but you don't run California. That's just not how it works. And that's what I think that's the story. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me see where we at in the chat. We're going to read some of these chats and we're going to get to the reason we're actually here. But I like this conversation. I'm also speak a little bit more on this whole Joey Badass and Ray Vaughn and Reason thing. I think he's talking about Jadakiss since he's on the I'm from New York beat. Okay, yeah, Jadakiss. Okay, I see what y'all saying. They did Reason dirty on that stream. Name 5 Reason songs was diabolical. Right. Yeah, Musa, I don't know why he did that. But again, when I call out TDE for things, people just think I'm being too harsh. I'm pointing out the obvious, bro. Prozac said they used to call us dumb. Are you talking about East Coast or New Yorkers used to say Southern rappers were dumb? Shout out to JT Money for repping the South versus Dre and Snoop during that beef. New York has an unsolvable rat problem. That's why they really mad. Yeah, if you living amongst rats and roaches 24/7, yeah, you're going to be in a constant state of irritation. I would get that. I get that. Yeah, Connecticut, right. It's Top Op Troy live with it. Yeah. Am I Top Op? Y'all seen something funny today? Hold on, let me see something. I seen something hilarious today. Who sent me that? Who sent me this? Hold on, let me see. I think it was the Beyond Beats and Culture folks. They sent me, oh, right here. Here it is, right here. I guess this is a comment on one of their videos. Someone said, yo, I love the combo. They talking to Beyond Beats and Culture. Great takes. That was until you mentioned Troy. Oh, man. So, yo, somebody got to be the villain, man. I'll be the villain. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, yeah, dog-sized rats, huge rats, from what I understand. Again, I have no desire to ever go to New York. It's not on my travel list. It's not on any list that I have. I love this year music-wise, good or not. The beef made everybody get to work. How do I feel about this year music-wise? I'm looking forward to seeing what Nas and Mass Appeal have, you know, because they're going to drop an album every month for the rest of the year or something like that. So Nas and Primo, we get Mobb Deep, we get some stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna just say my full truth how I feel about this whole Joey Badass, Ray Vaughn, now Reason, Daylight thing. To me, this is not that interesting. To me. The whole Joey Badass versus Ray Vaughn, Reason now, Daylight, To me, it's just not that interesting. Now, I've made content on it, but I almost didn't even make content on it. I almost did. Y'all know this. I haven't really reacted to any of Ray Vaughn's stuff until this week. I never did the whole Crash Out Heritage and all this. Like, to me, it's just not that interesting because the matchups don't make sense. Joey versus Ray Vaughn makes no sense. Joey versus Kendrick makes no sense. Reason jumping in. You know what it is? It doesn't even feel like honest competition. It feels like everyone is trying to clout chase off of each other. Like Joey's trying to clout chase off Kendrick. Ray Vaughn's trying to clout chase off Joey. Reason's name was mentioned, but he wasn't dissed. They're all just trying to have a moment off of each other. It doesn't even feel like, to me, competitive. It just feels like each person is trying to have a moment so they can get their own numbers up. Because none of these guys' music is doing anything right now. Respectfully, Joey's music is not doing anything right now. He's been gone. Joey's music has not been doing anything. Ray Vaughn's music has not been doing anything. Reason's music has not been doing anything. Daylight's music has not been doing anything. Unless he's collaborating with J. Cole. So it just feels like they're all trying to catch a moment off of each other to get their own numbers up. That's what it feels like to me. So instead of this whole back and forth, I would much rather all these guys get on a record together and try to spit the best verse and try to outdo each other. To me, that would make more sense than like this super plush competitive rap back and forth. To me, it's just not that interesting. Even though I think Joey's rapping well, even though I thought Reason rapped well, Ray Vaughn, I don't really care for his music, so I've said just about everything good I'm going to say about Ray Vaughn in this video. That's enough Ray Vaughn glazing for this week for me. But to me, again, I would just rather they all get on a song together and try to outbar each other on a song, like on a one train type of deal, you know? To me, that makes more sense. This is just not that interesting to me, but I'll continue to make content off of it. But it's just not that interesting. You can probably see it in my reactions to these diss records. I'm just like, this, even on Joey's, I like Joey's music. Even on Joey's stuff, I'm like, this, like, it doesn't even make sense why you're responding to this dude. He's done nothing in hip hop. Zero. So anyways, what do y'all think? Let me read the comments. Joey needs other New York rappers to run a couple fades for him. That'll make it interesting. Yeah, I think it'll be more interesting with other people involved, but I don't think New York, I don't think they have, like Joey would have to find guys in his own crew to do that. I don't think New York has the personnel to even engage in this type of thing. Like the rappers that they do have are not competitive type rappers, like Lil TJ and all this. Who else? Fabio Foreign. Who wants to hear Fabio Foreign battle rap? Nobody. It's all a play. They about to drop a collab album. I mean, they should. They should all get on this song before this goes too far and it's unsalvageable. They should all get on a song together. Or maybe even drop a collab album. Everybody doesn't have to be on every single song together, but maybe you got Ray Vaughn and Joey on a song. And then you got this guy and that guy. And then maybe Kendrick will see it and like, yo, Kendrick, throw us a hook. Because all these guys just want Kendrick Lamar's attention. Joey wants his attention. Ray Vaughn wants his attention. And then, like, this is why they're doing this. They just want Kendrick Lamar's attention. So maybe if, you know, it gets big enough, Kendrick will throw him a little verse for their little collab album or whatever. But to me, this is just like, it's just Joey badass. And I say this, you know, respectfully. To me, it's just Joey Badass versus a bunch of mid-tier rappers. And it's just not interesting. Like, there's no real issues. There's no real story to delve into. There's no story to kind of make the tracks to add meaning and make it feel more tangible. It's just a bunch of dudes trying to have a moment off of each other, with Kendrick Lamar being the center of it. Not interesting. Easy McConan said, have you heard that new AZ Chike? I don't rush to listen to AZ Chike's music because I don't think he's good. I don't rush to listen to AZ Chike's music because I don't think he's good. When his album drops, I'll listen to it. And after I listen to the AZ Chike album, it's either going to be one of these videos, like I did with Ray Vaughn. I was wrong about AZ Chike. I admit when I'm wrong. If it's good, I'll be like, I was wrong. But if it's bad, it's going to be one of these videos. Angry review. Oh, my Andre 3000 flute album, Angry Review, almost got 10K. Make sure y'all go tap into that. Let's get this to 10K. Let's get this to 10K. But yeah, I don't think AZ Chike is good. It's not like something I'm gonna ever listen to. Well, actually it is, but it's not something I'm gonna ever rush to listen to. What are your thoughts on the new MIT Lupe Fiasco EP? I didn't even know Lupe Fiasco had a new EP out. I get most of my music news from X, and Lupe Fiasco has me blocked. So, does he still have me blocked? Or Twitter changed it. They changed it to where you could still view someone's timeline, but yeah, he still has me blocked. So I don't know when he drops new music, unless someone tells me. So thank you. I didn't know he dropped a new EP. Where we at in the chat? TDE is being a poorly managed label might be the worst kept secret in the industry. I think all the TDE stuff is going to come to light. And then people are just going to be commenting on my old videos. Oh, damn, this dude's the prophet, Muhammad, you know what I mean? RIP Muhammad. We're not saying we Muhammad, So shout out to all my Muslims. But we prophetic with some of this stuff. Where we at with this? You listen to the Billy album, the Billy Woods? No, I haven't. Ever since that first Arm& Hammer joint, I've kind of just tried to giving up a little bit on Billy Woods. I've been listening to Billy Woods for a while, since History Will Absolve Me album. I really like the, Police Came to My Show Tonight, Billy Woods. Billy Woods has some stuff that I like, but I just find it very difficult to listen to. If I'm going to listen to Billy Woods, it's not going to be to enjoy some music. It's going to be to hear a narrative. You get what I'm saying? You don't listen to Billy Woods to hear some good music. You listen to it to hear a narrative. So I would just need the right situation to listen to it. But the answer is no. This got to end in Joey versus Daylight at a battle rap event. Even Joey versus Daylight doesn't make sense. Again, none of the matchups make sense. Joey versus Kendrick doesn't make sense. Ray Vaughn versus Joey doesn't make sense. Reason versus Joey doesn't make sense. And Joey versus Daylight doesn't even make sense. Joey versus Daylight makes the most sense of all of them, but it still doesn't make sense because in no situation should Daylight ever lose that battle. Joey versus Daylight is like Mayweather versus McGregor in a boxing match. In no situation should Mayweather ever lose a boxing match to someone in the UFC. Daylight is a professional battle rapper. So no one is really expecting Joey to lose to him. Joey's a proper recording artist, you know what I mean? Making songs, writing platinum diamond records. He's not a battle rapper. So even Joey versus Daylight don't make sense. The matchups are just so off. You got Joey shooting at Kendrick, but you're not even on Kendrick radar, dude. And it has nothing to do with you. You just thirsty for attention, Joey. Then you got Ray Vaughn stepping in, thirsty for attention. Then you got Reason stepping in. None of this makes sense. And then you got Joey versus Daylight, which is at the center of all this. And then it's obviously Daylight is going to wipe the floor with you. It's like Mayweather versus McGregor. We just want to see, we know Mayweather's going to win, We know Mayweather's gonna knock him out, which he did. We just want to see how hard McGregor fight. And Joey badass is McGregor in that situation. The matchups just don't make sense. That's why it's like not interesting, that interesting to me. Where we in the chat? People don't pay attention to just rapping. They need the perception of drama. We need a storyline. If it's a rap beef and y'all making all these songs and narratives, we do need a storyline. And there's no storyline. Red Rose says, who care what you think? You clearly have shown you have a problem with that. This photo is uncalled for. You do whatever for attention. If you don't care what I think, why are you in my live stream? Riddle me that. The least streamed song on 1999 doesn't just have more stream than the most streamed song on Rayvon's new album, but it has more genius website visits. Ray can't be dissing talking about you was never on the map. Yeah, the whole thing, everyone's punching out of their weight class, which, yeah, including Joey. Where we at? Daylight will win 100%, but it will be the logical end. Yeah, Los battled Daylight, and nobody expected him to win either. Right, and King Los is closer to a battle rapper than Joey is. Joey's like a proper like songwriter type deal. Billy Woods isn't a let me bump this casually on a Friday type rapper. Yeah, I never thought Drake had a chance at K-Dot, but the outcome was fun. I disagree. I thought Drake was gonna, I don't want to say beat K-Dot, but I thought Drake had the upper hand at the very beginning because Drake was battle tested. Like he had won beefs, he had lost beefs. Kendrick never been in a rap beef before that we seen. Sure, he rap battled at the Nickersons, but we never seen K-Dot publicly battle rap somebody before. We seen Drake like mop a couple dudes before and take some L's and come back. So I actually thought Drake was gonna put up a better fight than he did. Drake versus Kendrick battle had one outcome, and we still love the battle until Hard Part 6. Okay. Said block. No, I don't be blocking people. But anyways, that's what I felt about the whole, Reason, Rayvon, Joey. Y'all should just stop doing this. Hop on a track together. Hop on an album together. Because this is going nowhere fast. Either it's going to get too personal or it's just going to fizzle out and then you're just going to have Rayvon still dropping diss records months from now that no one except TDE loyalists are listening to, trying to get more attention. They should they got to come together and figure out how they're going to end this. And it should end with a song or like someone said, an EP or an album. So anyway, that's all I got for that topic. Drake's lawsuit's getting wild. So I actually haven't been keeping up with this. So this is great. I haven't kept up with this since my last video on this, which was like in December. So, yeah, Joey's getting what he asked for. Yeah, snooze fest, right? Yeah. There were people saying Drake should have stepped out for real. Cole and Dot was the main event the whole time, let's be real. Nah. No one ever, and I say this as someone that's been listening to Cole and Dot since like 2009, no one ever wanted J. Cole versus Kendrick. Not since, even at the very beginning of their careers, no one ever wanted J. Cole versus Kendrick. What we wanted from J. Cole and Kendrick was that collab album. We heard that song Temptations leak in like 2009, 2010, and then we were asking for that collab album. Nobody wanted Cole versus Kendrick, bro. Other than Drake fans. I think friendly battles should be structured into 3 rounds to avoid things getting weird or personal. I think if it's going to be a friendly battle, just hop on the same song together. Right? Anyway, shout out to that guy, Fantano. What you talking about? We're going to put this at 1.25 speed. Actually, Fantano, he might talk a little too fast for that, but let's see.
Date Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. We have to do a bit of an update on this ongoing lawsuit between Drake and his label.
And hold on, yo. Shout out to the, we got 83 people in here. Subscribe. You don't got to come in and chat. My chat be like a little aggressive sometimes, but it's all good. We love them. You don't got to go in and chat. Just hit like and subscribe, man. Hold on. Let me post my poll, man. Come on, man. Like and subscribe. That's all we ask for. Kindly.
UMG. Even though the progress of this whole thing is kind of slow going as of right now, the longer this lawsuit looms, the more of a long-standing impact I think it's going to have on diss tracks, on beef within hip-hop, and I think that may end up being the case even if this case doesn't end up making it all the way to court. Now, look, just in case you've been living under a rock and you were not fully aware, Drake, one of the biggest rappers of the modern era, of all time in fact, one day he had a beef with fellow rapper Kendrick Lamar. The two of them went back and forth for a bit, track for track, as it were. A great deal of the audience to these tracks, many.
Yo, homie, wait. Y'all like this sweater? I appreciate that he has the gall to wear this. It shows, you know, you got your own personal style to wear something like this. Yeah, you know?
Would say the majority of people pretty much came away from that whole thing with the strongly held belief that Drake lost in that situation. He lost. Did not come out of this beef looking.
Yeah, that's the hard part. The fake hard part.
Not only that, but one of the tracks Kendrick made in response to Drake went on to be a massive, massive hit. A Grammy-winning song that was recently performed at a Super Bowl halftime show. Now, even though Drake is no longer recording new songs in response to Kendrick Lamar to fire back at him.
Yet, Drake next album, Iceman, ain't it coming out this year? Y'all don't think Drake gonna take shots at Kendrick on his new album? Come on, man.
He is not disengaged from this situation. His steps from here have been more legal than lyrical and haven't been directed at Kendrick as much as the label they both share, UMG, with Drake and his lawyers pretty much making the argument that UMG should be held responsible for the defamatory remarks in the commercially released Kendrick songs.
Lord Racer said in the chat, remember when I told What's the Dirt, the company, man, got him wiped down? Remember What's the Dirt came in and in the chat and y'all was going back and forth. That was funny. What's the Dirt was going in on y'all too a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot of people that watch my channel though. Like people be DMing me, rappers and big YouTubers. Like probably YouTubers y'all watch. People mess with my channel on the low because I think, you know, I'm kind of a polarizing figure. So people don't want to come out and be like, yo, shout out to this guy. Because then their fans, their listeners are gonna be like, why do you like this guy? But it's actually a lot of, like, on a weekly basis almost, someone will hit my DMs, a rapper or a fellow YouTuber, and be like, yo, salute. I'll be wanting to post it. Like, yo, man, I appreciate the love. But I just keep it private. Because look what they did to Derapy. Look what they did to Derapy for even just debating me. For debating me. Not even being like, yo, I quit top 5 Troy. Like, look what they did to Derapy. You know what I mean? Just for debating me. So I'm not trying to I'm not trying to make no one's fan base turn against them. But we are polarizing. You know, we are the actual black sheep of hip-hop YouTube and contrarian and villain. People call themselves the villain. It would appear I am the actual villain in this whole
Specifically,
thing.
not like us, where you know, Drake is said to be a Pedialyte drinker, among other things. Drake's initial legal actions evolved into a fully fledged lawsuit in which he laid out a lot of allegations, not only claims about the defamatory nature of these songs, but also saying that Universal had a hand in like faking the popularity of the track, astroturfing its relevancy in some way.
Yeah.
Now, UMG's most recent reaction to Drake and his lawsuit, and there have been a few, has come in the form of a file to dismiss this lawsuit entirely. Basically,
And the thing is this, right? Do I think UMG bought its streams for Not Like Us? Yes. Do I think it matters in the grand scheme of the Kendrick and Drake beef? No. Before UMG even had the opportunity to pay the botters, you know, for that invoice to go through, the battle was already called by the people. Everyone has, I think if you're on a major label, everyone has botted streams, fake looking streams. And especially when you have a record and someone, I forget who said this. I think it might have been Steve Stout, but don't quote me on that. But they were explaining the lifespan, like the life cycle of a hit record. When that hit record is kind of local, it's a hit, but it's just local, it's just in your city, and a major label gets their hand on it, what they do with that record is they start pushing money into it. Even though the record's hot in its own city, they start pumping more money into it and to spread it. In a digital world, I don't think it works I don't think the whole localized regional factor plays a big of a deal as it did like in the 2000s. So in a digital world, I think the label will still put money into it, but the results of that money look different. And I think one of the results of the money is, yeah, we're going to inflate the streams so this rises higher on charts, and it's going to make this record look bigger than what it is. And people generally, the audience, they want to hop on a moving train. Like you want to support someone that already seems like they're doing well. Like maybe not everyone, but the general public, yes. So do I think UMG helped bot streams for Not Like Us? Yes. Do I think UMG helped bot streams for Drake songs? Yes. I think all record labels, to some extent, do this. Major record labels do this with their artists. Someone tried to make the point to me in the comments, like, yo, Ray Vaughn has 700,000 monthly listeners. He's 2 times bigger than Rock Marcy. He's 7 times bigger than Brownsville Ka. And I'm just like, you don't even believe this. You don't believe that Ray Vaughn is 2 to 7 times in any facet of Rock Marcy, Ka, Billy Woods. These are guys with legitimate underground cult fan bases. They drop a vinyl, which is outdated technology. They drop a vinyl, $75, $90. It sells out. They can go and do like smaller venues, sell them out. You don't believe Ray Vaughn is 2 to 7 times any of that. Try to base it off monthly streams, which, you know, the monthly listeners on Spotify, like it's all a facade. Not all, but it can be a facade. You don't believe that. Again, Troy's fan base should be called Top Ops. I was thinking Contrarians. That's too hard to say. Contrarians. That's too hard to know. Rock Marcy has a cult fan base, right? That's what I said about Doechii. How does he have more monthly listeners than every female rappers? Do I think that the label is botting Doechii streams? Yes. But I don't think it's something that's specific to TDE. I think it's all major artists, especially if you're trying to market your artist and trying to get certain records going, albums going. Yes, I think part of that investing in a record is inflating the streams. So that record, that song kind of rises up on charts, Billboard charts, on playlists. It gives it more visibility. So then actual real people will then go and listen to that song. Y'all got to listen to Russ, the rapper Russ, because he knows a lot more about the music industry than I do. But he, like, when he speaks, even though you can say he's brash, like he's full of himself, when he speaks, like, it be facts, man.
For UMG, one of the options they have here to potentially win and save themselves a lot of headaches and a lot of money is file a motion here that even prevents the case from going to court through this dismissal, saying that Drake's lawsuit, his allegations, everything surrounding it are so outlandish and ridiculous and preposterous that they're not even worth the court taking seriously. Nowhere in the 100+ page legal blather written by Drake's lawyers do they bother to acknowledge that Drake himself has written and performed massively successful songs containing equally provocative taunts against
I think that's exactly correct.
Other artists. Nor do they mention that it was Drake who started this particular exchange. Apparently, Drake's lawyers believe that when Drake willingly participates in a performative rap battle of music and poetry, he can be defamed even though he engages in the exact same form of creative expression. Drake's lawyers can also keep seeking to uncover evidence of wild conspiracies as to why one song that upset Drake had massive global appeal, but there is nothing to uncover despite his lawyers' attempts to silence other artists and threaten the company.
Yeah, and what really is Drake suing for? He's suing because, let me see. Like, what is the actual, I'll be asking myself this sometimes, even with the whole Diddy stuff. Like, what is he actually even being sued for? What is Drake suing for? UMG. Defamation. Claims UMG promoted the song despite knowing its lyrics were false and dangerous. Okay, sure. Yeah, defamation. Easy McConan said Doechii has a top 10 Billboard song and an album that sold 100K copies after the Grammys. Sure. Where we at in the chat? Million is when I'd consider an artist semi-mainstream within music. A million what? Records sold? A million streams? Easy McConan says 750,000 listeners isn't a lot. Yeah, but like Ray Vaughn doesn't have 750,000 real people listening to him every month. He just doesn't.
that work with them, we remain committed to propelling Drake's career while maintaining our unwavering support for all of our artists' creative expression, Drake's included. Apparently, they also make reference to Drake essentially teasing Kendrick into engaging with him on this issue of liking young girls by bringing up a bar from his Taylor
Tailor-made freestyle, talking about I'm liking young girls. That's a gift from me. Heard it on the Button podcast. It gotta be true.
Made freestyle. So look, I'm sure that a lot of you watching this video and I myself find these arguments to be very compelling. Like, I mean, it is true. This
good point, Zero. The cell phone streaming bot farm. Maybe people haven't seen that. Cell phone streaming bot farm. Let's see. Is this on YouTube? Oh, here we go, right here. When people say others are botting streams, this is what they mean. Yeah, this is what they mean. Bots. Yep. Streaming farms exposed. Yep. It's not a conspiracy, folks. It's something that actually happens.
Was a rap battle that Drake volunteered his time and effort for. He engaged in it fully and has also thrown out remarks about a load of other artists on his songs in the past, many of which I'm sure he wouldn't like to be held liable for in court. But as ridiculous as all of it may seem on the surface, the chance of this case actually going to court and either UMG losing or some kind of embarrassing information coming to light in the discovery process of this lawsuit moving forward, it's not zero. The chances are not zero. I mean, again,
the discovery is going to be interesting. Like what type of evidence they bring out.
As ridiculous as it may seem, Drake has been continually and persistently putting UMG here in the hot seat. I think they are feeling the pressure. While yes, it's true, I do think the bars in Kendrick's songs and really all the bars in all diss tracks artists may share between each other need to be looked at in their proper historical and cultural context. Still, the fact remains with this lawsuit and with these diss songs, like we are wading into pretty much uncharted legal territory because when you're talking about historical precedent for defamation,
it could kill the diss record in hip hop. Like, if Drake is successful, who knows if labels are going to tolerate their artists releasing diss records if there's legal precedence for them being sued over promoting it. Who knows?
Law, you know, there's not a lot of hard legislation that's been passed or cases we can look to sort of say like what exactly the legal system's positions are when it comes to taking rap lyrics literally or too seriously.
Zero said they got warehouses full of phones, botting streams. All those we buy your phone back joints get repurposed into that too. That's smart though. The phone buyback programs. We gonna take that old iPhone 4. We're going to put it on the streaming form. It's going to be streaming 24 hours a day.
I mean, just recently we saw many a lyric be used against Young Thug in the legal trials that he just basically escaped by the skin of his teeth. So again, to state it clearly, when it comes to defamation law and defamation cases, there are no hard and fast examples we can look to sort of say, oh, well, that was said in a diss track, so it's all cool. Doesn't count as defamation, man. UMG even goes on to characterize the bar.
HUR says this kills threatening language in rap music too. Bye-bye drill music. Yeah, drill music can go. It's pretty useless drill music. I think we'll see if Drake is successful. There's a lawyer who was on No Jumper who was saying that Drake actually has a good chance of actually winning this lawsuit. So we'll see.
In Kendrick's tracks as being non-actionable opinion and rhetorical hyperbole. I mean, sure, I think there's like an interpretation along those lines that
Easy McConan says these things aren't as nefarious as you think. She just added a viral song to the deluxe. Yeah, and it's just the way that the way it works in the digital age, right? So I can say something like alligator bites never heals, only sold 11K first week, and then someone will come back and be like, well, Doechie's been on a run. She saw that same album and sold 500K. But in reality, what happened is they took a song that was not on the album called Anxiety and they repurposed it and put it on the album. So now that one song has boosted the total streams of the entire album. Whereas if this were still the physical era, if Doechii released a single called Anxiety, that single would have just sold those records. Now people can take that single and repurpose it on a deluxe version of an album digitally. And it, even if all the other songs have streamed, let's say, nice round number, say 100 streams per song. But that one song, Anxiety, did 1 million. Now the whole album has done 1 million streams. This is why I say the whole monthly listeners thing, it can be a facade. The whole album is not doing 1 million streams. Like that one song can make the entire album platinum or gold certified. But in reality, none of the other songs are doing as well as that one song. If this were still the vinyl era where you had to buy, what were they called, 7-inch records or whatever, just the singles, that single would have just done that. Not the whole album. It's very misleading, right? Roger Amable said, you're low-key becoming my favorite hip-hop YouTube channel. Yo, shout out. Yo, eventually I'm going to say something you don't like and you're probably going to unsubscribe. But while we got you here, welcome aboard.
You can't say is like total BS. Simultaneously, you were there, I was there, we listened to the tracks, we enjoyed them, we were entertained, and as wild and as over the top as some of the bars on those Kendrick tracks are, he was saying that shit with his chest, man. He was saying that shit, and in my opinion, not necessarily putting it out there with the implication that like, oh hey, listen, I'm only Josh in here, man. I'm just it wasn't that friendly of a fade, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, look, Kendrick said what he said on those songs, and you can't really deny that it's had some kind of measurable impact on Drake's public image. I mean, that's like the point of tracks like that. I'm going to go at you on these songs and spit venom at you in order to embarrass you and make you look bad in the eyes of the people who are watching this whole thing. You are my competitor. I'm going to tear you up and drag your name through the mud. That's literally the point. That is literally the intent behind a track like Not Like Us. Now, with that being said, do I personally think a song such as that should be legally actionable, especially from an artist who openly engaged in multiple musical responses before Not Like Us was released? Again, no. My stance is very much no. But simultaneously, I think UMG signed on to essentially releasing these tracks commercially.
That's an interesting point, right? What do y'all think? And don't think of it in terms of Kendrick versus Drake. Think of it in just terms of what should be legal. Should you be able to go on a song and say things about someone that you know are false? Because that's defamation. The definition of defamation, let's pull that up. Because I like to make sure I'm accurate. A false statement that harms someone's reputation. And defamation is saying it when you know it's not true. Like, it's okay to, like, making a false statement that harms someone is not necessarily defamation. I think what puts it over the edge is when they can prove that you knew it wasn't true, but you said it anyways, and it hurt them. So defamation is already not true. So should defamation, I guess basically what I'm asking is, should defamation be allowed in a diss record in hip hop? Is it okay if it's in a diss record? Let me know in the chat. I'll give y'all a couple seconds. I'll give y'all a couple seconds. Should defamation be allowed in a hip hop record? Because it's not allowed in any other part of our society. So should it be allowed in a hip hop record? Felicia said it's entertainment, and how can you prove I don't think it's true? Well, that's a good point, Felicia. This is actually, what you just said is why a lot of people don't win their defamation suits, even if they have a real case, because you have to prove, like, you don't only have to prove that the statement is false, and you don't only have to prove that it harmed you. You have to prove that the person who said it knew it was false. So this is why a lot of people lose their defamation suits. Some people says depends on what? In a diss? So y'all think defamation, so let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think defamation should be allowed, period, just in society? Should you be able to make false statements about people that you know are false that harmed their reputation? Should you be able to say that about people in general? We're not even talking about Kendrick Drake. We're just talking about defamation, period. Do you just disagree that defamation should be illegal? Freedom of speech. Chuck says freedom of speech, but freedom of speech does not include defamation. Defamation. I can't spell. No, defamation is not protected by the First Amendment. The First Amendment being freedom of speech. So there's certain speech that's not protected in the First Amendment. People get lied on all the time. It's different. Being lied on is different than defamation. People lie all the time. People keep saying people lie all the time. Being lied on is different than defamation. Defamation is allowed in other parts of our society. Just watch an average South Park episode. Not in general, and this is yes. This is our niche that are extremely small amount of people partake. Got to Be 7 said defamation should not be allowed outside of entertainment. So if you have an issue with someone and you want to ruin their reputation, as long as you put it in a format that's in entertainment, it's okay. The demon that says 99% of diss records are defamatory. Not necessarily. Some diss records have factual information. Sure, it might have harmed someone, but it's not defamation because some diss records have information in it that's true. I mean, if someone tells you to talk about liking young girls and you call them a PDF, it's not defamation. In general, that's a weird thing to say. I'm just trying to make sure we have logical consistency here. If you willingly engage in our public person, I see an argument for it. Because the thing is this. I don't think Kendrick actually thinks Drake is a pedo. I don't think he thinks that. And people will pull up the video. And here comes the fire truck. Okay, you guys might hear sirens. It's very busy outside today. A lot of stuff going on. People will bring up the video of Drake doing the things on stage with that teenage girl who said she was 17. We're not going to describe anything in detail because we like our videos being monetized, right? But even that, by definition, is not pedophilia. Pedophilia and Conch said this in the chat before, and I was like, Conch, you can't say that because even you knowing this information, even though you're right, it makes you look weird. Like, why do you know this? Pedophilia is attraction to a prepubescent child. So even if we knew Drake, we say, Drake, okay, you did something weird, and this is why we're saying this about you, it's not factually correct. I'm just giving you the opposite argument. So should the defamation be allowed? And it's as long as it's entertainment, it's fine. Even if you ruin someone's reputation, I don't know. I'm asking y'all, but me personally, I actually need to sit and think about this. The Takeover by Jay, for example, is a factual diss, right? You don't know what Kendrick knows, nor do you know what he thinks. Well, now you're playing a dangerous game. Because Felicia, if you're saying that Kendrick did know Drake was a PDF, then why is Kendrick still being buddy-buddy with him on Euphoria? Yo, I still love when you see success. Why do you like when a guy you know is a pedo, is seeing success? Why, how many times does he say he loves Drake on this song? What do you say? Friends, pray they're my real friends. Why are you calling them your friends? Why are you saying I love him to death? 8 bars, I'll explain that. If you knew this, why are you being buddy-buddy with him? So the rabbit hole goes deep. We'll get back to the video.
Without fully thinking about, what they were kind of platforming here before they did. Just being kind of blinded.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't even think Kendrick believes this stuff. I don't think Kendrick believes some of the things he accused Drake of. And if I'm being logically consistent, yes. If Kendrick does not believe it, but he said it, and it hurt Drake's reputation, which it obviously did, that's defamation. Isn't it fair play to sue for it? But then that puts our beloved diss records, it puts our diss records in jeopardy. But you can also say it doesn't necessarily put the diss records in jeopardy. It puts you saying false info in a diss record in jeopardy. So don't make a diss record about someone saying false stuff or stuff that you know ain't true. When you make a diss record, make sure you know what you're talking about, right? I don't know. I still have to think about that. I have to think about my own thoughts on this. My thoughts aren't fully like formed on this. It's just a thought that I had as I'm watching this. Why did Kendrick call Drake a GOAT on Hey Now? Interesting. Yeah. Kendrick calls Drake a GOAT on Hey Now. Kendrick calls Drake a GOAT on Euphoria. Like there's people who are actually in the industry saying Kendrick and Drake were talking about how the beef is going to go. They're maybe not friends, but they're cordial. If you actually believe this stuff about this person, which I don't think Kendrick does, why would you be in conversation with him like that? Why are you talking about him like this? Kendrick didn't snap on Drake until Drake started mentioning his wife. I'm just saying. Something to think about. Challenge your own thoughts, you know?
With all the dollar signs being thrown at them, and didn't really take into consideration that a lawsuit such as this might be a reality, and it would go through a court system that historically doesn't do well with interpreting rap lyrics, seemingly doesn't really know what to do with them other than take them at face value again and again and again. And as bad of a look within hip-hop circles,
Easy McConey said certified lover boy, certified ephebophile doesn't hit. Right. But why does Easy McConey say that? It's because ephebophile, if you want to point to Drake doing the things on stage with the teenage girl as your main evidence of Drake being a pedo, quote unquote, then yes, you're describing it wrong. It's factually wrong because there's a term for that for people in that age range, and it's not pedophile, it's ephebophile. So you calling him a pedophile is factually incorrect when you know it's incorrect. Ain't that defamation? Saying false statements about someone that you know ain't true? Come on. I'm not saying y'all gotta be on Drake's side. I'm just saying observe your own thoughts.
Has been for Drake. I do have to say, I do think it was a smart move for him and his lawyers to try to hold UMG.
Yeah, HUR said having a friendly fade with a man you think is a pedo is crazy. Right, so that's what I'm saying. I don't even think Kendrick believes this. I think Kendrick was just taking narratives that were on social media and putting it in his songs. And Drake, I think Drake was doing the same thing.
Accountable for all of this as opposed to Kendrick Lamar himself. Such a move does kind of frame this legal battle in a way in the eyes of many that makes it more valid and legitimate. It's less about me versus this one single guy, Kendrick, and now it's me, Drake, versus the machine, the music industry, UMG. Now, is this what I personally think? No, not even a little bit by a long.
The Demonite says the teenage girl situation and Millie Bobby Brown situation is out there. Yeah, one could infer Drake is a weirdo without being defamatory. See, you can say Drake is a weirdo in a diss record. It's when you start making the accusations. No, you're this. You're a PDF. I already said the word a million times in this video. Why am I saying PDF now? That's when it becomes, that's when you border in that line. If Kendrick just went on a song and been like, yo, Drake, you're weird, and doesn't really point out why he's weird or making these stark accusations, then yeah, I don't think there's a defamation suit there. But I'm gonna let the lawyer, I got this video pulled up with Mo Ganga on No Jumper. I'm gonna not watch too much of this, but I'm gonna try to get to why he thinks there's a strong case against UMG. I mean, dude's an actual lawyer. Bait tracks. Kendrick lied, let's just accept it to move on. Well, they both lied, right? Drake lied, Kendrick lied, right? But there's some people in the chat, now that I break this down logically, there's now people saying, yo, no one actually believes these things about Drake. Are you serious? Are you in the YouTube comments? Are you on X? Like, people actually believe this stuff. Did people forget Kendrick brought out Dr. Dre? I mean, we've spoken about Kendrick and his whole thing. I personally just don't think Kendrick cares like that. I think he was just using information that the fans were putting out, put it in a diss record to win the battle, which he did.
Long shot. Drake is not some kind of like crazy outsider renegade who's taking the music industry to task on his own. He's maybe one of the biggest products of the music industry in the last 10 years. If he's doing anything at this point, he is biting the hand that feeds him and making the owner of that hand, UMG, responsible for his own dumb decisions. But it still remains that one of Drake's prime talents is being able to frame a narrative. He's so good at it that his audience instantly adopts whatever.
Yo, CS said, yo, we don't make those distinctions between ephebophile, hebephile, pedophile, because it's really hard to not sound like a pedo. Explaining the differences. This is what I was saying to Conch. Conch, like a couple streams ago, he was kind of making a similar point that I'm making now. But I was like, Conch, even though you're right, you can't say that. Because people are going to look at you like, why do you know that? People are going to look at you weird for just knowing the difference. See, I took a sex ed class when I was, actually I took it like in middle school and I took it in college. So we learned all these differences between these terms. But yeah, the average person don't know that.
Perspective he's trying to lay onto them. Even when someone like me disagrees with him, I still believe there's a real possibility he may in fact be deluded enough to actually believe the cause that he's fighting for here. But yes, again, as cool, calm, and collected as UMG has been so far in the public face of all of this, I'm sure behind the scenes they're sitting there and praying like, please, 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 please dismiss this goddamn lawsuit. And look, even if that does happen, I'm sure UMG and the other major labels too are going to think twice when it comes to platforming any sorts of diss tracks like this again, on the off chance that maybe they get held accountable for them on some level in court. For now, I'm going to leave it there until something else of note happens or is worth.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's a fair conclusion that UMG and other labels may, if Drake is successful, or even if UMG has to settle, they may not, labels may be like, yo, artists, if you're going to be on our label, you can't do no diss records. That takes away a very important and notable part of hip hop, which is the diss record. No other genre of music has the diss record. Only hip hop has it. And it kind of takes that away from us. I kind of compared it to fighting and hockey. Is fighting good? I mean, if you're in regular society, is it good to fight to solve your issues? Usually no, but in hockey, we allow it. Is defamation and like all this? This is a question I asked earlier. Is that acceptable in general society? No, it's illegal to defame someone. But in a diss record, we kind of allow it. Even though it's a part of hip hop culture, is it a good part? I think the best conclusion is it makes rappers have to ensure what they're saying in a diss record is true. It makes it to where you gotta really be careful of what you're saying. If you're gonna say something, make sure it's true. If you put it in a diss record, make sure it's true. Or don't say it like it's true. I mean, I'm just trying to see the silver lining here. Let's see what I got to say in chat. We can't say .lie when he's still rolling out this beef. Still more that's untold. We got that next track, Bodies, that has to drop. Don't jump the gun and say he's lying. My thing is, if Kendrick is not lying, I don't think he believes a lot of what he said in regards to the, whole PDF stuff. But if you're saying that he does believe it, then why was he being buddy-buddy with Drake before? Now it's like, you're being buddy-buddy with a PDF. Either way, you gotta look at dude a certain way. I think Kendrick was just taking narratives from social media and putting it in his songs. And one of those narratives, the Millie Bobby Brown and all this stuff about Drake started coming back up. This is why before Euphoria and all that, Drake mentioned it in Tailor Made. Yo, talk about him liking young girls and all that. Because all this stuff was on our timeline. People were like throwing stuff. The fans were creating the disses before the artist was even going back and forth like that. The fans was creating the narratives. And that's why Drake came out with all this, you abusing women. And this is why Kendrick came with the PDF stuff and all this stuff the fans was saying. I think they was both doing it. I think Drake just had a lot more damning stuff against him. Kendrick really didn't have nothing against him. But if the fans did have like some of these narratives on Kendrick, I think Drake would have said them. I think Kendrick lives a pretty like tight-knit life, and there's not much on dude. It was just a lot easier to attack Drake. I just think that's what it was. So anyways. Bro, yeah, y'all act like people know all things at all times. I mean, what do you mean? Diss records are more reserved for lyrical rappers, though. With this new hip hop, you won't get that. Defamation is in politics. They are eating the cats and dogs. Are you talking about Trump? So if Drake dated a 13, we gonna refrain from saying the age. Shout out to YouTube guidelines, community guidelines. And Drake called him a pedo. If Drake dated 13 and kindergarten pill, you're saying Drake should still sue because they have gone through puberty? Well, I mean, I'm just saying words mean things. I don't know about the exact scenario you're putting up. I'm saying if you call someone a pedo, knowing they don't fit that definition and it hurts them, like it hurts their life and their livelihood, that by definition is defamation, isn't it? Right? Words mean things, right? Mike Williams with the baggie. Shout out Mike Williams. He said it's obvious, beyond obvious, Kendrick felt Drake cross the line and said, okay, I'm going to say whatever. Anything more than that is reaching out. I mean, that's Mike Williams. You just said what I've been saying, yapping about for the past 6 minutes. You said it in one sentence. That's facts. It's beyond obvious that Kendrick felt Drake cross the line with Whitney. Yeah. So Kendrick was like, all right, you crossed my boundary, the boundary that we spoke about, that we said we would not cross. You crossed it anyways, so all right, I'm going to say whatever. I think that's facts.
Facts.
And I think it's as simple as that. And I think in hip hop, we look at it like, yo, Drake, you should not sue for this. It's because y'all are engaged in the back and forth. But if it's actually defamation, can you blame him? If it's actually defamation, I think it makes Drake look soft. You're suing over a diss record, essentially. I think that's why Drake didn't sue Kendrick directly. He sued the UMG so he can kind of make it look like he's fighting the industry because he knows it looks soft. But I don't think Drake takes L's very well. I think he's used to winning, and I think having to take that L, he couldn't just take that L. And I think Drake knew it. Like, yo, if I sue Kendrick, I'm never gonna live this down. So he sued UMG instead, and he's still never gonna live it down. Especially if he wins, he's never gonna live it down. Drew TV said, man, diss tracks are like roast sessions. It ain't gotta be true. It's a sport. Who can say the better things? That's it. But if you get dirty, then it is what it is. The thing is, in roast sessions, we not accusing each other of being like charlatans and all that. Roast sessions, we get on your shoes, your shirt, you know what I mean? But we not really making these absolute claims about each other, are we? Calling someone an abuser is defamation too. Facts.
Facts.
I think that's true. I know that's true. It's defamation if you know it's not true. There's a clear difference between both statements. Let's see where we're at in the chat. Crowing said, yes, I can blame him when he's been defaming rappers for years. Didn't he just call Button a sucker a few weeks ago? Right? Yeah, I think that's also the thing with Drake. It's like, Drake, you've been doing everything you accusing UMG of, you've benefited from. Like, so stop acting like you are the lone victim in this, like you hadn't been participating in this your whole career. That's where it really starts to look bad for Drake. So he's not, even if it really is defamation, he's never going to live it down. And it just looks super hypocritical on Drake's part. So anyway, let's get to what this lawyer was saying. I think I remember this video being really boring. So I don't know how much of this I'm going to watch. Hopefully they just get straight to the point.
Be a little controversial, but I think I'm back to Team Drake. I think like I was like really,
Team Drake, why is you on a team? You a grown man, bro.
really upset to hear that a rapper was claiming defamation in a rap battle, right? Like that, to me, that's stupid. Like, wait a second. You lost a rap battle because you know, the songs weren't as good as the.
I think it would be less stupid for a rapper to sue over defamation. It would be less stupid if that rapper has never engaged in defamation. Like they were just kind of having a fair battle, and then the other rapper came out and pulled out something that was just obviously not true, and it damaged that person's career. If that other rapper who was damaged had never participated in something like that, like they were just trying to have a fair, clean battle, even then, people are still going to get on you for suing over diss records. But I think more people will be willing to have your side. Like, oh yeah, dude, you overstepped the boundary. This dude was having, like, he never said nothing to you like that. Like, why would you say that? You know it's not true. But that's not Drake though. Like Drake was participating in it. So to sue over it when you was participating in it, and then Drake knows, though, Kendrick is not going to sue back for defamation because it's not hip hop. So yeah, this is why Drake looks bad. He just needs to drop this whole thing.
The other guys, and now you're suing and saying, well, one of those guys' songs defames me. And I thought that was dumb.
Yeah.
And then my cousin, my nephew, he was asking me to go buy some clothes. And I was like, okay, you know, what brands are we talking about? And OVO came up, and he had this look on his face where it's like awkward. And he's feeling like kind of sheepish about talking about it.
Felicia said, you keep saying it's not true and you don't know Drake. Well, yeah, I don't know any of these guys. But if it's not true, then you got to start looking at Kendrick. If it's true, you got to start looking at Kendrick. Like Kendrick, if you knew this guy was a pedo and all this, why was you trying to have friendly fades and all this? Like, this is the part that y'all never going to accept. You know what I mean?
And it was a angle.
Right.
And then I thought about that some more, and I thought about when that battle was happening, and really when every battle was happening. And then, you know, Drake had that, I think he had like the book bag or something, and they had like, oh, I got this dirt on him. And you were always wondering like, hey, what's the next angle going to be? What dirt is going to come out? What's he going to say this time? Is he going to call him, you know, a bitch? What's he going to do? And he came out with the line. You know, that was the centerpiece of that song. The song was an absolute bop. But the centerpiece of that song was A minor. And is that fair? Is that like even remotely in the vicinity of fair? Like you could say
Zero said he's on the team for the same reasons he's on No Jumper. He's out of touch. A lot of media people that you probably like and rappers you like have been on No Jumper. You like Gina Views? She was on No Jumper. You like AD in the community? He was on No Jumper. You like Back on Fig, T-Rail? They was on No Jumper. You like Draco the Ruler? Pretty much every West Coast artist, X4. You're watching my channel. I was on No Jumper. So
say a lot of stuff about Drake. I've said a lot of stuff about Drake. I don't think there's ever a world where calling Drake a adds up.
No, definitely not. If anything, this whole situation has proven to us within a shadow of a doubt that Drake is apparently quite clearly not a sexual predator. When Diddy got charged by Cass,
I don't think that. I don't think
all of a
that.
sudden we see hundreds of lawsuits come out. Drake has been smeared as some sort of sex pest by the one of the biggest rappers in the world. We've seen almost nothing come up in that regard.
Yeah, the NFL bleeped at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Right.
And the reason why they bleep is listen to the word. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like when you hear Not Like Us, it might kind of roll off you for a second. But when you look back on that story, that's pretty aggressive. And so in the Drake lawsuit, I will say, I've rethought my thinking on that a little bit. Now, Not Like Us was a bop. He got crushed in that rap battle, but the use of he's going after UMG on it heavy. That lawsuit is advancing. It started with this pre-petition thing or whatever.
Let's get to why you think he has a case.
Is fact versus, they call it hyperbole or like puffery opinion. That there's facts, which you can sue for defamation. Like, I don't know if I called you a... And then there's hyperbole, which you can't sue for defamation. Like if I called you a rap out. I don't know about that. I don't think there's clear-cut case law on this. I think this is one of those situations where a lot of stuff happens in the world. Rarely does it happen between two people with unlimited money. And when you have a situation like this happen with two people with unlimited money, they're going to go to court and they're going to fight it out in the most detailed and comprehensive way possible. And then you force judges and lawyers to really look at it and draw the line of what you can and cannot say.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because whatever the outcome of the lawsuit is going to set a precedent. It's going to set a precedent that could affect hip hop, whether positively or negatively.
This idea that Universal Music Group has that, hey,
yeah, this is a real lawyer. They already explained why they moved Pedo in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they say pedo even on other TV shows. It's not just because it's the Super Bowl. That's just not a word that we use on national TV.
If it's a rap battle, everything is kosher. I don't know about that. I think there's stuff you can say in the context of rap.
Yeah, that's what I was posing to you guys earlier. The question when I said, yo, do y'all think defamation do y'all just disagree with defamation as a law? Or do you think it should only be allowed in diss records? This is kind of what I was getting at earlier with y'all. Are y'all saying defamation should only be allowed in rap battles?
That's going to be considered defamatory.
Yeah.
So what's happening in this case? We're going to get some real information here very soon. So I believe the motion to dismiss is being briefed. There was a lot of press reports about discovery is going forward. That doesn't mean shit. When you file a lawsuit, the other side files a motion to dismiss. You might then go and say, hey, just because they filed that motion, it doesn't mean the lawsuit should stop. We should still have discovery. I should still be able to see Kendrick's contract. I should still be able to see the deal with Universal that if they with Spotify, if they paid any money to artists.
Y'all said, is this a real lawyer? Mo Gangat. Y'all don't recognize him? Gangat. Employment law. He looks a lot different than he did a couple years ago. Yeah, this is him, right? Employment law firm in New York. This is him. Mohammed Gangat. Where did he get his PhD? Where did he go to school? He's on, here it is right here. Law Office of Mohammed Gangat. It says he got a JD. He got his Juris Doctor in 0809. Let's see. Georgetown is where he got his PhD. Or that's where he went to school. Yeah, Law Center, yeah. JD from Georgetown. Bachelor's in Political Science from John Jay College. That's also my bachelor's, is in political science. So he's a real lawyer, to answer your question.
Officially inflate these numbers or to put it out there more in the algorithm. So that discovery process, Drake's lawyers will want to go forward. And what happened, like I think 2 weeks ago, and the press was all over it. Oh, Drake's lawsuit is going to go forward with discovery. Happens all the time. This happens all the time. One person files a lawsuit, other.
Skip ahead.
And then you have this general business law angle, which is Drake's claim that this company uses all these illegal business practices to make one artist look bigger than he really is. This lawsuit is very real. And my take on it is it was pretty messed up for Kendrick Lamar to call him with no basis.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'll kind of stop it there because y'all don't seem to like No Jumper. But he's a real lawyer. Isn't considered an expression of art. Well, that's the thing, right? So are you saying, Drew TV, are you saying that it's all expressions of art, anything goes? Anything goes because it's art? Isn't it considered an expression of art? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, because it's art, because it's a rap song, anything goes? So does the law not apply when it's rap? I'm not being snarky, I'm just asking. If that's your stance, that's fine. Being on No Jumper in 2025 is like wearing art gallery thinking you own some new ish. No, because the truth will come out. Because somebody's withholding some information. 2 Live Crew won their freedom of speech case in Supreme Court 35 years ago just for Drake to try to undo it. Those aren't the same. The 2 Live Crew, let me see, 2 Live Crew court case. Dang, this don't even come up. Because I didn't put crew. 2 Live Crew. Face a major legal battle, not just one case, concerning their music, obscenity, and copyright. So they were in court for obscene lyrics, not defamation. Obscene lyrics is already protected by the First Amendment. Like, you can say obscene things. Defamation is not, it's already illegal. I think the question is defamation allowable just because it's rap? Jew TV is making the case, it seems, that defamation is allowed in art. So you can defame somebody as long as it's artful. Right? Which I think, I don't agree with that, but you're allowed to have that opinion. Kendrick only did what Drake told him to do. I think Kendrick fiance Whitney has a better case. Yeah, I mean, Drake said some pretty damning things about Kendrick. If Kendrick was that type of dude, he could countersue for defamation. Now we got 2 rappers suing over each other's diss records. Exactly. Ricochet, shout out to Ricochet in the chat. This is bad for rap battles going forward. Now the labels will intervene for liability reasons to protect themselves. Right. Just sweet Georgetown. Georgetown's a great school. Good news is labels would have to hire a bunch of people to go through every rap song for defaming lyrics. Yeah, I guess it creates jobs. You're starting from the false premise that what Kendrick said is defamatory. One could argue it's not given what's online. Inferences can be made. Yeah, so that's up to Drake. He has to prove that, 1, what Kendrick said is false. 2, he has to prove that it hurt his career, which I don't think like everyone knows that hurt his career. And 3, he has to prove that what Kendrick said, Kendrick knew he was false. This would be the case if he was suing Kendrick. I'm actually not sure what Drake has to prove with UMG. But if he was suing Kendrick, that's what he would have to prove to win a defamation case. He's not suing Kendrick, he's suing UMG. But yeah, it has to be proven that it's actually defamation. But I just wanted to float the question if y'all think, because defamation is already illegal. I was just floating the question, do y'all think it should be allowable just because it's rap? I don't think you should be able to defame somebody just because it's rap or because it's in an art song. Or, it's an art, it's in a painting, it's in a, R&B song. I don't think the shield of art moves the law away. Oh, the law doesn't apply because it's art. I don't believe that. It hasn't, to be honest. Drake's still doing numbers. Well, that's up to Drake to prove. Drake will have to prove that it hurt his career. That's a part of defamation. South Park has a legal warning at the start of the show because they've been sued. They've probably been sued enough to where they got legal advice on, okay, this is how we're going to move in case we ever have to go to court. I don't think defamation should be okay because it's art. I'm asking, will it be considered expression of art? Kind of like South Park or Family Guy. They defame people often. I don't know if South Park and Family Guy defame people often. I think South Park and Family Guy make fun of people, and I think they make some pretty harsh jokes, but I don't think they defame people often. Like, I don't think on Family Guy, you watch a Family Guy episode, and they're making false claims about people knowing they're false often. I think it may have happened before, or borderline on that, but I think Family Guy is more joking on people and making these really harsh jokes and putting people in a bad light. I think that's happening, but that's not defamation by definition. So it's a diss record, though. It's supposed to attack his character. See, you can attack someone's character. Attacking someone's character is not defamation, though, necessarily. You can attack someone's character without defaming them, right? Defamation is saying something false about someone, knowing it's false. That's a part of it. So you can attack someone's character without defaming them at all. Yeah, he's going to have to prove that. Somebody dropped him from a brand deal. As far as I know, he still gets brand deals. Well, that's what the lawyers should prove. All of this is going to come out, though. If the lawsuit keeps coming, this is all going to be public information. And people are going to clown Drake for this, actually. When Drake has to prove this part of the defamation suit, people are going to clown him. Oh, you lost this, you lost that. Oh, you look what Not Like Us did. People are going to clown him. He put a joke disclaimer in the video because Drake requested one. I think the problem is a lot of people taking Drake's word a little too much. The more stuff he does that comes out, more it just proves he's contradictory, a liar, and confused. I mean, I would agree with that too. Parody and satire bypass definition, usually under the guise of a general saying. Let's see. I don't know if that's true. Let's check it out. Does parody and satire bypass defamation? Does parody and satire bypass defamation? It can provide some protection, but they don't automatically bypass them. Defamation requires a false statement, a fact presented as truth, with harm to someone's reputation. Parody and satire often exaggerate or distort reality for humor, which can make it harder to prove the statement was intended as fact or caused real harm. Easy McConan, whatever you just tried to type got retracted. Probably just got to censor a word or two. Otherwise, YouTube will automatically censor you. I think I already read that one. I hate that hip hop has gotten big to the point that we get guys like this speaking on a battle. We're really talking about a rapper suing over a battle, and they're okay with it, right? Right? Yeah, I mean, really. The diss. And that's what it comes down to a hip hop level. Even if there was defamation, in hip hop, we understand it was a rap battle. You had the opportunity to come out with another record to counter whatever narrative that was. Your records wasn't good enough. You lost. You engaged in some of the same behaviors that you're suing for. You lost. And you're suing because you lost. In hip hop, that's what we understand it as. And it has to be with malice and disregard for truth, right? Satire bypasses defamation for sure. That's not true. It can provide some protection, though. It can provide it, but not necessarily. So anyways, interesting stuff. I like us is definitely a satirical, anti-PDF diss track. I mean, that's what you were saying in court, right? Not the record is satire. The record is satire. But anyways, good stuff. Here's a channel. Plenty of new content for y'all. I'm going to have a sparkling water and watch some stealth camping videos. Stealth camping. This gives me good ideas on new camping gear and stuff that I need. I'll be outdoors type beat. So I'll be watching stealth camping, dude camping out, all types of places. Dude camped out at this sign, camping with Steve, man. He's from Canada too. So it's on brand with what we were talking about. Drake's from Canada, camping with Steve's from Canada. He stealth camped in a U-Haul truck. This is the type of stuff I'll be watching, man. So anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the stream. That was fun. I think we put a lot of good info out there today. We got plenty of new content. Make sure y'all watch new videos. I think we may live stream tomorrow. I gotta tap in with Potty Mouth. Shout out to let me put his channel up, Potty Mouth. Shout out to Potty Mouth. And shout out to July Jackson. Anytime I do this, I end up beefing with the people I shout out. This has happened 3 times. So shout out to these guys, and hopefully things don't go awry, right? Well, I don't end up beefing with them. They just end up saying some crazy shit about me. This happened 3-4 times already. But maybe tomorrow I gotta tap in with Potty Mouth and try to get a time in. And he's live streaming right now. So you're done here? Go watch Potty Mouth. Tell them Top 5 Troy sent you. I'm out of here. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.